you for joining us on Give It a Name with Jennylyn, the show that you can choose to name by going to my website, giveitanametv.com, and writing to me and telling me what you think the show should be called. Today, I have the privilege of speaking with two Feng Shui experts, and I can't wait to begin this interview so that I can be educated, and hopefully you too, on how Feng Shui can enhance your life. And so today I want to welcome you, Marcia, and thank you so much for taking time out to come here today and share all your expertise with us. And you too, Nancy. It's a subject that I am not very well informed on. I've done my research, but you can fill in all the blanks for me today, and hopefully answer questions that my viewers may have as well. So Marcia, welcome, and would you like to just tell us something briefly about how you got started with Feng Shui?
Yeah, thank you, Jennylyn, having me in this show. I guess I just grew up with it. I came from a Feng Shui family, originate from Hong Kong. My late father was a Feng Shui builder and developer. And that's where I start learning about Feng Shui, I guess, by osmosis, by just being there. But I consciously also learning every aspect about Feng Shui during my growing up years and in school. For example, ecology, biology, environmental science,
wow.
And all those topics that attract me a lot and I'm passionate about. And I guess I've been doing Feng Shui work for over 22 years, and mostly people find out about what I do, and they call me up and engage me with their projects.
Great. Well, you know that you're Filipino, right?
No, I'm Chinese from Hong Kong.
You're Chinese from Hong Kong. So what we Westerners know of Feng Shui is that this is a science. Is it a science?
It's both arts and science.
Okay.
And it's a very proactive system in our environment and also in our life.
Okay.
So we applied every aspect of science and arts for solutions.
Oh, great. Well, Nancy, you're not from Hong Kong.
No, I'm not.
So how did you become involved with Feng Shui?
Well, I was a high school vice principal, and I was having a lot of trouble with people coming into my office without announcing, just barging in, a lot of discipline problems, feeling hectic, chaotic, and then I got injured breaking up a fight. So in my recovery, I started studying Feng Shui, and when I returned to work, I Feng Shuied my office. And people would come to the door and they would say, "Excuse me, do you have a minute?" And I thought, I looked around, are you talking to me? And I started having more vitality. I was getting through my day without being completely exhausted. And I thought, there's really something to this. And so I began to study with, I entered a Feng Shui Master's training program.
Fascinating. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I guess that this will lead into my first question, which is, and I don't know which of you ladies would like to answer it, maybe I'll ask you. What is Feng Shui? Feng Shui.
Well, Feng Shui literally is translated from Chinese, wind and water. So they are both very essential elements in our natural environment. So wind and water, and it goes with one of the biggest concept about Feng Shui is about balance. So imagine if it's too much wind, it causes a lot of damage. If there's no air,
right,
we couldn't even survive. And too much water, as we have experienced nowadays, flooding, and no water, we also will perish. So wind and water is one of the fundamental concepts. talking about the natural environment and also the balance of it.
Okay. Well, based on your story, Nancy, I'm going to ask the second question that I have on my list. How do people benefit then from making Feng Shui adjustments?
People benefit by making Feng Shui adjustments because they are learning to balance and harmonize what's going on in their environment. And when the environment is in harmony, then the person can be in harmony. So, for example, back to my office, I rearranged the furniture in my office, and that's what made all the difference in the world from chaos to calm. And the same can happen for people in their home.
That's amazing. Seriously.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
So, can you just Feng Shui one room at a time and still see the benefits of, experience the benefits of Feng Shui?
Yes, you can. However, you get the most benefit if you do the whole space, the whole house. You'll get the most benefit, but you can do just one room.
Mm-hmm.
You can do just a bedroom or a kitchen or child's room.
Yeah,
Well,
there are many levels of Feng Shui, and as small as a flower arrangement in the room, or in a building, in a subdivision, community, in a region, in even a country, a nation. It is as big as the universe. So there are many levels of Feng Shui.
Okay, and I have had the privilege of having Marcia come and Feng Shui my house. And I have a question that I think people may want to get the answer for. If your house is structurally against the Feng Shui principles, what, like for example, in my house, you remember there's a situation with beams on the ceiling, which I can't really control. How does one counteract that to still enjoy the benefits of Feng Shui, or can it be done?
For Feng Shui, it can be created, it can be destroyed, it can be modified, it can be remedied. In your case, in your bedroom, there's a lot of overhead exposed beams, and they are harmful Feng Shui elements because it really creates the negative qi, which is harmful to your health or your finances. So since we cannot structurally alter that, their remedies can be easily used. For example, using I recommend using a canopy. Either you get a canopy bed, or you cover that with some beautiful cloth, so that can be shielded from the negative qi, which is the universal life force affecting us favorably or unfavorably.
Okay. And so Nancy, my next, thank you, Marcia. Does Feng Shui interfere with one's beliefs?
No, it doesn't. In fact, I've had several clients ask me that. And I had a great testimonial from a woman who was very strong traditional beliefs, and she was worried about having me come in because Feng Shui comes from Tibetan Buddhism. So when I was finished, she said she felt that there was nothing triggered anything for her. In fact, she felt completely peaceful, and she had the best night's sleep she's had in a long time.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Great.
It works every time.
That, you know, it's so, people go through their lives with never ever knowing about, you know, something like Feng Shui, and
Right.
you wonder how, if their life would have been better, were they Feng Shui conscious and had arranged things differently. Can you give us some examples of good Feng Shui?
Well, I was going to say that actually every human being knows something about how to put them in a favorable place. Except in the Chinese culture, there's something called Feng Shui, which is a very elaborate system.
Excuse me, can you repeat that? Called?
Feng Shui is a very elaborate system
Okay.
that has every guideline to every aspects of a building. There's even Feng Shui for clothing, Feng Shui for transportation, Feng Shui for food. But of course, it's widely used in structures and buildings.
So are we Feng Shui today?
Oh, absolutely. Look at you. I always think that you, with the green, which is a color of health, vitality, and well-being.
Yeah.
And then I have Nancy with the yellow color. And I'm sort of in between, pulling the colors together. So this is a very Feng Shui kind of setting.
An unconscious one, but the right one, huh?
Mm-hmm.
That's great. So which Feng Shui principles are most important? I don't know which of the two of you want to answer this.
Well, there are three that are really, really important.
Okay.
And it's all about the qi and moving the qi. So when I come to a home, I'm always looking at the front door. How does the qi get into the house? Because if it can't get in, it doesn't matter what you do inside.
So what is the qi, though?
The qi is the invisible energy that is the life force that's flowing in the rivers, through the water, flowing through the wind and the air. It's everywhere, and but you can't see it. But you know it when it's not good, because you've been into a place before, I'm sure, where you walk in and it's like, I can't wait to get out of this place.
Right, which is why we're doing this show, because I've had that experience. And
Yes.
I always share a story because a lot of times they're related to the subject. And a good friend of mine lost her husband. She lives in Beverly Hills earlier this year. And I went to Beverly Hills to help her to deal with the funeral arrangements and all of this. She was out of the country when he passed. And he was actually dead in the house a few days before anybody found out he had died. She was concerned that she wasn't hearing from him. And she wanted to clear the energy. And this person was sent there to the house and given actually very little details, just that I'd like you to go clean this house. And the key was left for him, and he went in. He was there for pretty much the entire day before he called and said that we could go to the house. And I remember when we got there, I walked into the house and I had to walk right back out because of what you just said. I just felt extremely uncomfortable in there. And so he eventually came outside to where I was, and I started speaking to him. And I was so fascinated by what he said because I knew what had gone on in that house and he didn't. But he told me the same story. And that's when I thought, boy, there is something to this Feng Shui. I want to do a show on it and share with my viewers, as well as learn for myself, what this really is, and how you can make your life better if you practice the principles and if you give it a try. And I'm someone who believes in giving things a try. So then my next question is, what do you feel that Feng Shui's greatest contribution to the world of interior design? You want to answer, Marcia, because you've written a book on this.
Well, for Feng Shui, there's principles in addition to what Nancy said about the Qi, the universal life force. There's other disciplines, which is the form theory, about the landform or even a person, how we look, the structural part of it. And then the directions and elements of it. So for Feng Shui, there's the exterior and the interior. And definitely, because we are so intimately connected, we are indoor most of the time. So we really want to create the Feng Shui from an interior standpoint, from the placement of it and placement of furniture, and then also at every other decorative items. And then also the colors and the textures and everything all work together. We call it harmonize.
Okay.
Yeah, and so interior is important, but then the exterior, as it goes from the interior to exterior to neighborhood to community, all the way connecting, is really alignment of the chi.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you. I've heard along the way throughout my life when I've had any type of experience with people in the Feng Shui lifestyle, that clutter really affects your life. How does clutter affect the flow of your energy and just the flow of your life?
Clutter stagnates your life. It creates chaos, and it doesn't allow the energy to flow. So there is this energy map that I place in my head over a space, and where the clutter is determines what part of your life is in chaos or not working well.
Really?
So for example, when you come into a home, I can come into a home, and if I see a stack of papers, books, dirty dishes, whatever it is, it's all stacked up, I begin to ask questions about that particular area. Could be wealth, could be your wealth area. I just recently talked with someone, and she had her laundry basket and her ironing board in the wealth area. And everything is symbolic. So when we look at that, it's like as soon as she made the connection, she moved it.
Is she wealthier now?
Most likely. More comfortable, and having obstacles in our environment, and when they are not placed properly, they are obstacles.
Okay.
And they also create scattered energy. So it's creating disharmony in our physical space. And a clutter space reflects a clutter life.
I guess it makes sense, and to add, clutter is usually ugly, so it's not good.
Yeah, and people can focus and just having a lot of ideas, but not able to focus into accomplishing.
Okay.
Yeah, what they really want to do or what is important to them.
Okay, well, my next question is, how can people use mirrors in their home to their advantage? Because I am a person who loves having mirrors, because I was told when you use a lot of mirrors, it opens up a space and makes it bigger. And
I remember in your house when we walk into your entrance, it was dark.
Right.
And it was a place that will, just like what you say, open up the space to bring in the natural light and let it reflect all through the entrance.
Right.
Because a bright entrance is more inviting than a dark entrance based on the chi.
Right.
And Nancy, you have something to add on to the mirror?
Sure. Mirrors can be used for a couple of different ways. You can use them and place them in a particular area to attract to you. So for example, if you are looking for a relationship, you can place a mirror in the relationship area with the intention that it is bringing you the ideal mate. But you can also place a mirror in somewhere, say for example, in the family area, to repel particular people in your family that might be hard for you to deal with, and so you just, it's like gently sending them away. So it's all about your intention and what it is that you want. Mirrors, like what Marsha was saying, can also be used to open a space. So if you have a really narrow hallway, you can mirror the hallway and all of a sudden it expands.
Right.
Yeah, but you really want to be careful with mirrors, because you wouldn't want to place it everywhere, and then the lights and the energy will bounce back and forth and create a lot of scattered energy and chaos. So there's always a balance. Remember the.
I'm glad the show is being taped. I'm going to sit and study it.
It's fun. It's actually the more you study, the more you know, the more you can integrate into your life, and you find it very useful, valuable, and powerful.
So what are the biggest mistakes people make to sabotage good feng shui in their homes? Like, it's something that people normally do, but it's not good for a home in terms of keeping the energy flowing right.
Well, what I run into most often is clutter.
Clutter.
And the other thing I run into most often is incorrect furniture placement.
Okay.
And especially when we're talking about the bedroom, because the bedroom is the most critical area, because that's where you are the most vulnerable. You sleep and you go off to wherever you go while you're sleeping, and that's where you rejuvenate yourself. So the bed should always be placed in a position where you can see the door.
Oh, really?
From the bed, because then you can energetically really relax and sleep your best. It's considered the command position, and it also puts you in command of your life. So if your bed is any place else, your life is going to be more chaotic.
Yeah, it's just like this, in addition to what Nancy said, it's supporting wall. Where you place the bed, where you place your desk in your office, and even where you place a city or a subdivision, it's best to have a supporting hill. Or it's just like our chair right now. We are very comfortable with a supporting backing, and we are at ease, and we feel comfortable, and we can focus in whatever we are doing. So a bed, a desk, and in the house with a supporting wall, those are the backbones. It's just like supporting us, so we wouldn't feel vulnerable.
Okay. This is just great information. And so it leads me to another question. Does feng shuiing a baby's room help the baby to sleep better?
Absolutely.
Yes.
It does?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, because babies, they are so precious. They are vulnerable. And so we really want to place the baby in the best possible environment. And so I would suggest the colors are important, you know, not too strong. Not too stimulating, because they sleep pretty much a lot of time, and not too many openings, you know, because if there's too many windows and you place the baby, the bed in a very open area with lots of flows of qi from different directions, the baby they don't feel well.
Well, it sounds like...
Can I add something to that?
Yes.
I would like to say that it's also very important to not have the baby's crib or bed up against a wall that has electronic devices on the other side, because the electromagnetics are very close to the baby's head.
Yeah.
Well, you know, so many of us do so many things that are obviously stopping our energy flow from flowing like it should to benefit us, because I've done all the things you're saying don't do in terms of feng shui. I had bold colors in my nursery. Like, I was the one mom who thought too many pastels. And so I had red, yellow, and bright blues, because I felt like bright colors were stimulating. And you're saying,
as they grow older, it will be very good as they...
but I did it when they were babies, when I brought them home from the hospital. I have 2 daughters, and that's kind of how I, you know, had their rooms done. And so this is really interesting. And I'm looking back thinking, they didn't quite sleep very well at night.
A lot of parents are loving and protective, but I would say it's a mistake if they place the baby in the parents' bed. It's actually a feng shui no-no. Babies should be taught and then live in their own environment.
Well, you know, we're running out of time, and so I want to make sure we still get a lot of information out of you too at the time we have left. But here's something that I think you can answer, Nancy, simply because Marcia grew up in this lifestyle, but you didn't. You kind of, based on what you've said, this was introduced into you, or you seeked it out later in your life.
Yes.
So tell us how your life is different since you started living a Feng Shui conscious life than it was before you were aware of all that you know now that's important to do to enjoy the best Qi in your life.
Well, the first thing is that I know that there is a remedy for everything. So no matter what happens in my life, I know that there's a way that I can impact the outcome of whatever's going on. So that, for me, has been a huge piece. My life is really good.
Great!
Yes.
Yeah, brilliant! This is
Yeah.
what we want to hear. So there
Yeah.
is a lot to this,
Oh, absolutely.
to incorporating these principles in your life.
Yes. And a person can go to the depth that they would like Marcia was saying, it's very vast. So there's the feng shui of your space, but there's also feng shui things you can do to develop your inner landscape, which then affects your outer world as well. So there's a lot to it, and I've embraced all of it, and it's been quite a ride.
Wow, I'm so glad to hear this, because so many times, you know, we get locked into our beliefs and we're not willing to experiment with anything else. And so we just discredit it like, I'm not familiar with that, so it can't be good. I've been someone who's always been willing to embrace other things. And until I've tried them and failed at them, at least I try. Most times they've been beneficial. So we have a minute left, and so I just wanted to ask you, Marcia, for the people watching this show who have not had any exposure to this, after watching this show, are interested in starting, where should they start?
They definitely have start from themselves in their own space, one room at a time, one space at a time, and be really conscious about what's positive, what's negative, and choose wisely. And the whole intention of Feng Shui is really to maximize the potential, and it's good for everyone.
Great, because I think part of why I do my show is so that I can encourage people to make their lives better in all the different areas that I've covered. So since we're out of time, Marcia has written 2 books, The Power of Feng Shui for Your Life and The Power of Feng Shui for Buildings. So thank you so much for taking the time to join me here today and educating us on Feng Shui. And thanks to my viewers and my crew and everyone here today for being here and making this a success. Please keep watching Give It a Name with Jennylyn. Hopefully you will always have something to learn. Thank you.